Going to another featured presenter on our list. We are running a little bit behind schedule, but in terms of public health and biomedical sciences, thank you for being our featured presentation. We'll have additional presentations tomorrow. Our next speaker, Cristina Maria Povian, is an architect, interior designer, and associate professor at the Faculty of Architecture and Urban Planning and Politehnica University in Timișoara. She's a graduate from the same faculty and studied for a semester at the Sapienza University in Rome, holding a PhD in architecture focused on social architecture for children in need. She also conducted a postdoctoral research in Venice, Italy, and architectural history at the Woodrow Wilson Center here in Washington, D.C. In 2022, she became a PhD advisor in architecture, mentoring doctoral students in sustainable architecture and design. She gained international experience through an internship in Berlin and teaching mobilities worldwide, including her mobility now. She's here in Washington, D.C. Please join us.
Hi, Theo. Thank you very much for inviting me. I will start by sharing my screen because I prepared the presentation. Actually, it's my last day here, and I'm happy that I can be with you. I hope you can see it. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
So I'm very happy that I can share my experience here at the Woodrow Wilson. And I will start not only talking about this, it's about a presentation about the importance of mobility in the research. It's not about, even if I like a lot to talk about my research, and I will try to put some key points about it, I will try to focus more about another aspect, which I think is very important, the mobility. And why do I think it's very important? Because going in different mobilities and having the opportunity to make research or teaching or having a training in a different country, you can see similarities and differences. I think the similarities make the connection between us, and the differences make us develop to a better researcher, to a better teacher, and even a better person. So I will try a little bit to start with my background, which I think it's important. Not I graduated in 2011 and I made during the master degree I've made my PhD studies, and I've learned during that period, which was a little bit hard, that making the right connections between the researches, you can do a lot of things. So I always focused, and you are going to see during this presentation, that I have working in a architectural enterprise, because I'm an architect and I like to be an architect, even if I'm a professor. And during my entire evolution, I focused on connecting them. So my main focus was to build and to design building for social institutions. So mainly for children, because I like a lot of children, and I think it's a very important aspect in our lives. In 2015, when my journey of traveling, starting and researching around the world, even I had some small mobilities, one in Sapienza for one semester and one in Berlin as an internship during my PhD. The true mobility started after that, when I became a lecturer at the faculty, and UPT gave me a lot of opportunities of teaching around the world, but also of gaining a research grant. One of the most important one was for green infrastructure, which was with the University from Reykjavik, Iceland, and also a postdoctoral fellowship at the Romanian Institute of Culture in Venice. In 2022, I took the habilitation, and now I coordinate students, which make me feel much more responsible of trying to create connections all over the world in order to help my students and my research team to make a better view about what's architecture around the world. For us, each mobility is not only about doing the research, the resources, and only library. For us, the entire city, the entire buildings which we see are very important, because we have a different eye to analyze them. I teach at the university history of architecture. For me, from the teaching point of view, visiting New York, Washington, the entire museums was very important to see the Capitol, to see how I teach about it, and to see it in person. And the Woodrow Wilson gave me another aspect. You are going to see that architecture for children, architectural perceptions, was my PhD thesis. And about what was about it? It was about children in need. And I was trying to focus, because everything started with my final project at the university, where I had to do a center. I decided to do a center for rehabilitating the street children. And then I saw that it's very hard to put them in one category, because they are orphan children who are living on the streets. They are also children who are coming from poor families, and they are staying only 1 day or 2 days. And it was very important to create an architectural building, an architectural space, who are going to complete the social and political and economical decisions which were made. Because I was very happy to find out about other researchers, very important researchers. I know, Theo, that one of them is your mother, who influenced Romanian social structure, and how they changed from big orphanages after the revolution in small houses for children. And nowadays, because the categories of children are changing every day, and this was one of the another fellowships was architectural strategies for children with parents working abroad. Because another category of children in need was appeared when lots of people in Romanian start to leave Romania for short periods or for long periods to work, and their children remain at home with their grandparents. Those children were neglected a little bit, and sometimes center for school, after school, for them were necessary to be built. And I had to do that kind of architecture. And it was very important for me. One of the results of the mobility in Italy, in Venice, I was very happy to be there. And I'm very grateful to the director, to the both of them, because nowadays maybe I have to thank them because one of them gave me a recommendation to be here. So we kept a very good contact, and each year we create a master class in Venice, and more than 50 students are going there with us, and we present different buildings, and they meet the architects and the professors from there, and we create a debate. So from each mobility, we try to connect, of course, our institution, UPT, but other researchers from our research community in order to improve and to make a better perspective of their research. So in each year, till this year, when this year we went to Milan, also as a partner with the Romanian Institute from Venice, and we created there. It was the exhibition of our faculty projects. But otherwise, in Venice, each year we have a masterclass, and we plan to do that next year also. Research grants. We had I talked about the one with Reykjavik, Iceland. Another result are articles. As a researcher, it's very important to publish, to know, to connect with other researchers, to let your work be visible. And one of these aspects is very important because sometimes when you travel, you gain access to other resources, other publications, libraries where you shouldn't have usually. And that's one of the most important things which I had here at the Woodrow Wilson. I've told you that the connections between it was very important. Sometimes my students ask me, give us some trick and tricks about how we should do that in order to be a good architect, not to lose our profession, but also to be a researcher, because it's very hard to focus on both of them. So I have done a monk quarter and chapel in Caransebeș, which has the main destination of being an orphanage, a modern orphanage for children. We know that from the very ancient times, church had a very important role for children. And I'm happy that, because I know very well the people who is responsible and in charge of making all this happening, and it was a real pleasure. And when I'm asked which is your most your heart project, this is my heart project, because it's for children. It's about what I believe, and it's me. They already have 2 children there, and they are growing up, and I see their development, and I'm really happy for them. Another project was one for children in risk, for the other category, which I was talking about, which is in the municipality of Lugoj. And I saw that this one, who the persons are not that familiar and not that involved in the evolution of the children. Usually, they are making changes, not only architectural changes, but they do, if it's a day center, if they need after school center, they transform it all the time. So I realized that architecture, it cannot be independent when we are talking about this category of children. So entire Europe and with entire the world, talking about the connections, about seeing the bigger picture and understanding better where we are and where our research is standing. Even if we are talking about Romanian children in need, for sure this situation is all over the world, and the changes, economical, political, are coming from other parts, and we saw that after the revolutions. So I coordinated, and I've been in many mobilities of teaching and formation. Starting 2018, I was in Greece, but also in Norway, in Turkey, different countries, and also Morocco. And in each country of where I have been, I've learned that we have lots of things together, lots of projects which we can develop, and I was really happy to take part of them. But the difference between all these mobilities, from which you can see it was a short period, 1 week, 2 week maximum, it's a big difference comparing with what happened this year. So this year, it's not only North Macedonia, it was a big step going to United States of America, where the Woodrow Wilson for Scholar was a home for me, and it changed me not only as a researcher, but also as a professor, as an architect, and also as a person. I will try to tell you about my experience, because I'm trying to encourage lots of people to participate, to obtain this scholarship. It's a scholarship offered by Romanian Institute in partnership with the Woodrow Wilson Center. I saw the very interesting presentation about the visas. Yes, they sponsor for the visa, so it was very easy to come. You have to apply. I have a G1 visa, and but it wasn't that hard to come and stay here. Of course, only for 3 months. But I think it was enough for me to get a better perspective about what does research mean in America. So even when I started, I made a plan. So I started with the research part, with the professoral development, but also the part of me, the architect development, visiting as much as it's possible. And Woodrow Wilson Center, it's has the location in a very important place. As you can see, it's near the White House, 5 minutes walking to White House, near the National Mall, USA Capitol, and of course, lots of museum. What they are offering, it's teamwork, resources, coaching, connection, work infrastructure, events. We have different events where you can, especially on politics. It wasn't something very targeted to my research, and it was a little bit difficult for me to choose them, choose the ones who were important for me and the ones who are important for everybody. So, but I saw that there are lots of them who are for architects and for researchers, and of course the resources, the access to the Library of the Congress, to the Library of the Woodrow Wilson Center, being nearby the Ronald Reagan building where lots of events are happening, we were able to attend them. And I think I've changed a lot. And the connections which I've made, I had colleagues and the teamwork. We had the possibility to work and talk to the research I've made with others in order to have suggestions. And sometimes only by talking about my research, explaining what I'm doing, they were able to give me new perspectives and directions in sources where I weren't used to search, even if they were in the same field or in other field than mine, because usually there aren't architects here in the Woodrow Wilson Center. So I encourage people from all over the field of research to apply for different scholarships. I think the key is the interdisciplinarity. We cannot talk nowadays about only architecture. We cannot talk about sustainability, about talking the psychology of human being, about technology, about politics, of course, because there were very interesting lectures about the Ukrainian heritage and how it was destroyed and how it has to be restored afterwards. So lots of important things can appear when we are doing interdisciplinary research. Here are some photos from the Woodrow Wilson Center. So you can see from the meetings, the rounded tables, the meetings with the Japanese minister, different presentation, lectures, our library, and how every day they are presenting. There is a list where you can see the events, the most important events, which you have to register or not, and many of them are online or even physically. And Woodrow Wilson Center, of course, had a big influence on my architect part as a person, as a professor, and as a researcher. Focusing on a professor part, I've tried to see, and this was the big difference of from the other mobilities I had. When I go with a teaching or formation mobility, I stayed there two weeks, and I stay in the same university. Here I had the possibility to visit the three of the most important architectural university and to have access to their libraries and to the research center. I was to the Corcoran School of the Arts and Design, to the University of America, the Catholic one, and the University of Maryland. I tried to attend lectures and design symposiums, but also participating in classes. The Woodrow Wilson, it's a passport, a very useful passport. When you are talking with the professor from here and you are saying that you are from here, it's a powerful instrument. So they were very nice to me and kind, and they invited me to attend their lectures, and we discussed about my research, about their research, about gates where we can connect and have future projects. So the importance of mobility, you can connect in a different way when you are there. You are seeing, you are knowing them, you are seeing the differences, but also the connecting points where you can develop a research together.
Thank you for driving this point and highlighting it. That's exactly why we had your presentation to make sure the personal connections that you make, being physically present in these environments and making the institutional ties are vital. Physical presences, even in an environment of virtual simultaneity, physical presences and connections that you make are still central to future ties and institutional bridges that we're trying to nurture. Thank you so much for taking these last few hours in DC to share this with us before we return back to Timișoara.
Thank you very much, Dale. And I wanted to end with I think everybody imagine, and I'm sure that lots of people are thinking, oh, it's so nice that Cristina is in Washington. And I can say, yes, it's very nice, because I had the opportunity to visit a lot of museums, as you can see, Leonardo da Vinci's, some unique pieces, masterpiece of art, which are very important for us. And also events. Here you can see an image from the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, Library of the Congress, which I don't have it's not necessary to present it. But I was happy, and I'm not going to enter into details, because for me, America, I have a family here, and that's the way I've met Theo and his lovely family, and I'm very grateful for that. And definitely the Woodrow Wilson Center made me see how important, exactly as you said, the human contact, because the research cannot be made by robots, because now it's a concern how AI will influence our research. For sure, will make a difference, but I'm sure it can make it better. But the human touch cannot be replaced. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure meeting you, being present here, and I hope that my presentation helped a little bit. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is ours.